Muted. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Drive Pink Dialogue. I'm your host, Scotty. I'm here with my co-host, Saur. I'm sorry, I will be joined momentarily by my co-host, Saur. Inter Miami finishes off a 3-1 victory over Nashville SC in the first round, or the first leg of the first round of the MLS Cup playoffs. Friday night, under the lights, Inter Miami gets the job done. An unfortunate goal there at the end, but Inter Miami gets the job done. And I think that's the most important thing. I get they scored in the 101st minute, but the most momentum they had gained before that was probably when they realized that they were getting 11 minutes of extra time. And aside from that, I'm not sure there was a ton of momentum building moments for Nashville SC. Hany Mukhtar gets a goal at the end. I don't know if that's going to make a difference. But ultimately, I think Inter Miami's got to feel really good about this.
What was that? That felt so simple. Inter Miami doing exactly what they needed to do. That was very good. Very good. I felt comfortable throughout the entire game. Inter Miami executed the game plan brilliantly. I think we got it nail on when we said that Nashville was going to actually be a little bit more conservative and try to catch Inter Miami on the break. They didn't come out at all being that adventurous as they did last time around at home. I thought that worked in Inter Miami's favor. We handled the pressure moments well. There were a few jittery moments at the start with the defense, giving the ball away in unnecessary moments. But I think there were a couple of really monstrous performances. We can talk all about that. But I really, really enjoyed that. Gutted we couldn't get the clean sheet because I thought we deserved it. But job's not finished. 1-0.
In the words of Kobe Bryant, what's there to be happy about? The job's not done. No, I thought it was an excellent game. And I really don't know. I don't know how anyone could complain about it. I don't even think Inter Miami had the right setup to dominate this game. I think they were just way better. And ultimately, that's a great place to be. Just be way more talented than the other team, and you're going to win a lot of games that way. I maybe, if I'm nitpicking, the biggest thing I'm worried about is a yellow cards, and if that's going to come back to bite us or something because of some sort of accumulation. I don't know if that's. We've never gone far enough for that to ever be a problem, so I don't know if that's something to be worried about. But I don't want to sound overconfident, but I feel like this is a really good matchup for Inter Miami. Much better than what Inter Miami had last year. I think that they're going to go on the road and be fine because I don't think this Nashville team has what it takes to match up. And I think they're here because they're really well coached, and I think they can scheme it up really well with BJ Callahan, and I think they have a couple good players that can really score goals. But on the whole of the team, now you're in the playoffs, now you're with and up against the best teams in the league, you're not going to pull upsets if you don't have the right talent and or matchup to do it. And Nashville is what they are, and I'd be pretty nervous if I was a Nashville fan.
No, I don't want to get that far ahead. I think you said it right. Let's not be overconfident. I have a couple of really important thoughts that I want to
go ahead.
I want to get a couple of thoughts out before we get to the chat. So I think first, what was really interesting for me, and I maybe disagree with your point that Inter Miami wasn't set up correctly, or maybe that's not what you were getting at, but set up to dominate the game, right? That's what you were suggesting. I think that's correct, but I think the setup was right. Inter Miami. So let's start with Nashville. Nashville played a different style of football than they did against Inter Miami compared to the previous game. Previous game, it was a lot more expansive. They were taking the game to Inter Miami, using the flanks very well, very back and forth, and that worked in Inter Miami's favor. That style suits Inter Miami so well. What for me was very positive today was Nashville came with a different plan, and Inter Miami was ready for it. Nashville came with the plan of making the midfield compact, playing it a lot more conservative, not allowing pockets of space. And Inter Miami struggled at times to find as clear-cut opportunities as they had in the last game, for example. But we found different ways to exploit Nashville's vulnerabilities. And that, for me, is the biggest positive because exactly what you said. Inter Miami now knows how to beat Nashville in two different ways. This is a good matchup. Going into the next game, you have to again perform at a very high level, but Inter Miami should feel confident in their abilities to get the result done. Let's just put it that way. We don't really know what's going to happen over the next two games, but today, a well executed game plan played extremely well. And the second thing that I think stood out to me was the quality of a lot of our fringe players who've been slightly below par was very high today. Some of the performances were fantastic. We were performing at a very high standard, where I would say there were a few glaring issues, but only because everyone was performing at such a high level. So, in the grand scheme of things, I thought everyone had a 7.5 performance. Everyone performed very, very well. But there were individual moments that you can nitpick and say, okay, this wasn't as good. This was somewhat, slow. But if we go individual player by individual player, I thought that there were a lot of positive and impressive moments from every single player on the starting 11 and also players coming off the bench. Very well executed game from Inter Miami. I'm super happy with the way we came out of that one, except the last minute goal.
Yeah, and I think the 11 minutes added was sort of I think
Injection.
it threw everyone through a loop on Inter Miami. I think there was sort of like a loss in, really, we're doing this? Javier Mascherano makes the game's over. Here's 4 minutes for Lujan and whoever else can. Yeah, sure. And it was like, the game's already over in my head. And then the 11 minutes does change things because then there is time. And so everyone kind of has to.
Then you're in the 79th minute, essentially. Imagine if you take it back 11 minutes, you go. And 79th minute feels like you can actually launch a comeback. So
my point in that is I can forgive that. If you shut off in the 110th minute. By the way, it was a nice goal by Hani Mukhtar. Like, I don't want to take it away from him. And that could be like the most positive moment that Nashville has. I am going to try not to get overconfident, but you watch these two teams and I don't know how Nashville does it without
let's focus on
something going
today's
in their
game.
way.
I think that's how we do not get overconfident. Just focus on the way we played today.
Okay, to your point about really good performances, I thought, I only have one player that I have any sort of critical comments for. And when you win 3-1, it's totally fine. So we'll get to that, I'm sure, as the chat lets us go. But before all of that, Lionel Messi was incredible in the first half. And in the second half, he was good too. But what? Clearly, this game meant more to him than last week or the week before or the week before. There was an intensity to his game. There was I'm just going to take this game over. Watch me and good luck to what he was doing tonight, especially in that first half as he gets Inter Miami the lead. He is so much better at headers than anyone under 6 foot deserves to be. It's like from age 15 to 20, he was just already way better than everyone at everything. So he was like, I'm just going to go work on my headers because I don't need to work on dribbling because I'm already the best at it. So Lionel Messi, incredible performance. If he plays like that, Inter Miami, if he plays like that for the rest of the playoffs, Inter Miami's going to win the MLS Cup. I'm not saying he's going to play at that level because that, even for him, is really high. But that was awesome. What do you think of Messi?
He was gliding across the pitch. It just felt so easy for him. And as I said, Nashville tried to make the field compact. Center was very busy at times. But Messi was just gliding in and around players. And we'll talk about him. But I thought the midfield was brilliant. And it helped Messi out a lot. I think it really, with the one-touch passing that was happening at times, the line-breaking passing where Messi was taking up pockets of space, waiting for the ball to come into him, and we were finding him through the midfield. He didn't have to go all the way back to the middle to try and get the ball to himself. I thought he was just gliding everywhere. He looked fantastic. The goal was brilliant. What a pass by Suarez. Two fantastic assists today. Great pass by Suarez. Great header by Messi. And what else can you ask for, man? And it feels like he won't score one, he won't score three, he'll always score 2 goals. It's as simple as that.
I think you just made a great point, though. Inter Miami, great up the spine. Rodrigo de Paul, possibly his best game at Inter Miami.
Best game at Inter Miami.
Busquets was awesome. especially defensively in the first half. Maxi Falcone, one of his best games in Inter Miami.
Brilliant.
And then Noah
Brilliant.
Allen.
Falcone was brilliant.
I wouldn't call Noah Allen's performance steady. Like, he had like 3 or 4 moments you'd want back, but like on the whole, he also made up for them with some good moments. He also had some really nice moments. So like on the whole, I think it was a good performance. And so when you get those, and then Rocco, I thought looked incredibly confident and calm and good in the back. So up the spine, Inter Miami was really good, and that's like a good recipe also. So again, we would just be nitpicking anything we were critical of.
And I think today was when Inter Miami actually looked confident across the spine for the first time. I think the front looked very good, the middle looked very good, and the back looked good. Noah Allen, I think maybe one of the lesser performers on the pitch today, but still his performance was very good compared to.
The thing is, if it's not Noah Allen, there's like some moments that don't get made if it's not Noah there
Absolutely.
to make them.
And he was.
I thought he was good on the whole.
He was pocketing Hani Mukhtar. He was pocketing Sam Surridge. Him and Falcone together, I think, really held their own. They were fantastic. But going back to Messi, he's unstoppable right now. And he's in a form that I think we saw last year, but then he got injured and then he'd come back and get back into it. But he's in a vein of form where I think he's unstoppable right now. And it's beautiful to watch.
Can I just tell you? Today, 2 goals. According to SofaScore, this is his second worst game in the last like 8 or 9 games, because it's just 10, 10, 9.1, 9.6, 9.1, 10. Today was only an 8.8.
They need to fire whoever's doing their statistics, man. That feels wrong.
But you're right. He is just in incredible form. And I thought today was one of his better games, especially in that first half, because maybe the results weren't there. He's not getting 4 goal contributions today, but that's because Nashville was doing everything they could to stop him, and he was still opening things up for his
But
teammates.
it was so professional, right? Like, this is the kind of performance that you want in the playoffs, where it's not back and forth, where you're not like, oh, Inter Miami for 25 minutes felt like they're going to concede 7, but then we ended up scoring 5, so all's good. It felt professional for the 90 minutes that we were on the pitch. At no point during the game did I think Nashville had it in them to overwhelm Inter Miami. It felt like we were in cruise control and dominating Nashville with our quality. And that's how you want to play in the playoffs. Just professional football with no ifs, buts, or maybes throughout. Yes, Taylor Twellman would say, oh, if this would have happened, the game would have been different. But I've realized he loves to talk in what would have happened, but he never focuses on what is happening. And I think for 90 minutes, 88 minutes, Inter Miami was in utter dominance of Nashville for today's game.
Well, it is certainly easy to be undefeated in hypotheticals. Lynn said, let's get to the chat. Lynn says, Rocco got a hand to that on the final Hani Mukhtar goal. What a shame that we didn't get the clean sheet. Let's start with Rocco. In the back. What'd you think?
Very solid. Very solid. Came out to control some of the balls. I think there were moments where Sam Surridge, it was Jacob Schaffelberg who came one-on-one with him when Noah Allen gave that ball away. Of course, Jacob Schaffelberg sort of trips, but I thought Rocco did really well covering that goal. We don't know whether he would have saved it or not because the shot never came at him, but it always felt like he was making the right decisions, always making himself available at the right angle to receive the ball. So if Nashville was trying to press us, we always had that goalkeeper option to go back. He was passing the ball really well. My only small nitpicking gripe with him is the last goal is what makes me think he is a 5'10" goalkeeper. Like, if he was slightly taller, he may have been able to save that. But that's just such a small point. I thought overall a very solid performance from Rocco once again.
Yeah, he had 2 balls that he kicked out of bounds. And I don't see anyone complaining about that tonight. I think you're right. Like, I think Rocco is always going to be undersized, but like, I think
it's not his fault.
I think he has what we need right now. That's what I'll say. Pepto says RDP upped his game tonight. Okay, I think maybe there's a chance this is the story for Inter Miami over the next couple of weeks. is if RDP, Rodrigo de Paul, plays like that, like Miami might be unbeatable because they might just have too much talent across the field.
No, I saw something else from RDP today that I haven't seen the entire season. That was beautiful. I
Yeah.
love a good midfielder who doesn't stand out with goals and assists, but is doing everything right in the pitch that people would only notice if you're watching him intensely. I'll have to rewatch the game to see why he was so effective, but his defensive aspect was brilliant. But I thought today his offensive output, just connecting the play back and forth, was on another level. I dare say that he was my man of the match because we looked so much more superior in the midfield today than we did last week. And it was the same midfield. I don't know if it was Nashville's setup or what it was, but Inter Miami controlled that midfield like it was their own piece of land and nobody could touch it.
So on the one hand, maybe it was just the way Nashville set up, and it was like sort of the perfect game for RDP. On the other hand, maybe he was just saving his best for the playoffs, or maybe he's just a big time. He's a big time player in a big time game. Like maybe that's just what he is, and he I think can earn a lot of fans' respect over the next couple weeks. If he plays like that, he will because he was awesome. Josue says, I was made to believe that Rocco and Masha were bad, but they showed up with a masterclass. This is what I was sort of hinting at the beginning. I don't think Mascherano did anything other than pick the right players to like win this game.
Which is an important ask, by the way. He's not done that more often than not this season. So important, very important.
Definitely. But I guess that was my point at the beginning is Inter Miami just out-talented Nashville. And I don't think there was a thing Nashville could have done to really take this team out, especially when the midfield is playing like they were.
And they tried. To their credit, they played a different brand of football today. I messaged you on the side and I was like, it feels like Nashville's playing a more last year Nashville football than this year Nashville football. They were a little bit more of the terrorist haram football that they love to play, where they were being physical, they were creating fouls, being very dirty, clunky, not allowing for rhythm, and we still beat them. So
comfortably. Yeah. Cynical says, just saying Lujan should have had a head on that last goal. No, but yes, I guess this goes back to my point of, I think when Lujan came into the game, he thought he was going to play 5 minutes. I don't think he was really ready to be a defensive wizard. I don't know if he was locked in as maybe, and like I didn't think he needed to be until I saw 11 minutes. So it is what it is. Janet says, great start to the series. Tunde says, great performances from the weak links today from RDP, Suarez, and Allende. Let's start with Luis Suarez. Like, that's what you need from Luis Suarez.
If he does that for the rest of the playoffs, I'm going to say he's had a phenomenal playoff run.
Yeah. No, he was good today. He gets the assist. I mean, it's a pinpoint exactly what you need. Assist.
So good.
And then he also has that the double shot where it's like, I think it's off a corner and it goes all the way through. And I will say, to be able to like get the rebound, turn it around, and then still whip it back towards goal.
And
it was a nice shot
as well. Clean.
Yeah.
On target.
I thought it was impressive. And then also, like, there were some moments where they put the ball over the top and he didn't get to it. But again, it's just forcing those defenders to take a step back and to take a step back and then to create more room in front of them. And he's doing the little things. And
you know what it was?
Good.
If you compare it to what he was doing earlier in the season, what was the one complaint that we had of Luis Suarez? He was constantly occupying the space that Messi operates in, the half space right before the D, the space where you would want your number 10s to be in and around, or the number 8s to be in and around. Today, he was playing off the shoulder of the defenders. He was, as you said, pulling them out of position. And it wasn't easy to play against these two defenders. This is a good centre-back partnership. Palacios and Zimmerman are both very good centre-backs, and you wouldn't get that many opportunities against them. So I think the difference from when we saw Suarez earlier in the season to now, and I really like this fact that the change has happened, is he's not now occupying the space of a number 10 or number 8. He is occupying the lines and the channels of a number 9.
Well, this is what we've been talking about over recent weeks, is Inter Miami has transitioned from being a really low defensive team to being much higher up the field. And I think Suarez has responded by also occupying different spaces, and I think it's been good. And then Allende gets his goal. No shaky moments. Like, I think there was some moments where we could have gotten him the ball over the top and didn't quite make it happen, and we can talk about that in a little bit. But he gets his goal, doesn't miss. He has another opportunity on a header where he does put it wide, but if you get a goal from Allende, you say thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow or next time. And then on that same play, Ian Frey with a really nice run down the side, and then Messi starts the whole play off by pushing Frey that way, and then Frey with a perfectly whipped in ball. And Inter Miami, I thought, closed the game out when that happened.
Let's talk about Allende for a second. It almost feels like him and Suarez do a double act where one of them plays as a pseudo 9, the other plays as a 9, and then the other plays as a pseudo 9, and the other plays as a 9. Like they switch their roles. It's almost like if you combine the two, they'd be the perfect striker. Because Allende's goal was literally a number 9's goal. Sam Surridge would be licking his lips for that opportunity. And it was a great header, by the way.
Yeah.
So it's interesting what kind of player Allende is. I don't think he's a true winger, but I don't think he's a true number 9 either. It's like interesting. He had a couple of opportunities. One that he shot straight at the keeper, which was a good save from Joe Willis. But I thought Allende was good. Somebody asked in the chat earlier, what does Allende do that he keeps starting? It's this. He split the centre backs. He occupied a good spot. The ball in was fantastic for me and Frey, and we can talk about him in a second because I want to. But he occupied the right spot. But also he just makes some runs that sometimes go unrewarded but are important. In the grand scheme of things, are very important because they stretch out the field a lot.
And he also has a good chemistry with Messi and Suarez. Like, he understands where they want to be, and he understands where they want him to be, and like that is important. And I get people want to see Matteo Silvetti in the starting lineup, but like, he doesn't have that. And anyways, that's a conversation for another day.
And he was very good at his pressing today, by the way. He ran his butt off. Yeah, I thought he did really well.
I thought there was an intensity across the board. Like, Inter Miami showed up for this game. The weather is going to get a little bit nicer, I think, especially in South Florida, as we get a little bit deeper, especially if we're playing at night. I don't know if hopefully MLS doesn't schedule any day games for us. And that might sort of rejuvenate some of our players and give them a little bit of a pep that we haven't necessarily seen all year, and allow them to push forward. And, we saw this in the Club World Cup. Like, they did raise their intensity levels at the highest and most important moments, and it wouldn't surprise me if we see that happen again in the playoffs. Yeah. And then Tunde says Noah Allen was shaky today. We briefly mentioned it. He does have a moment where he loses the ball, and I thought Jacob Schaffelberg kind of two-hand shoves him away from it and then just takes it, and a different referee probably would have called that a foul, which is fine. That's not how the referee was calling the game all day, so it's it's fine. But and then Schaffelberg, you can't, as quick as Noah Allen is, no one's going to catch up to Jacob Schaffelberg, and so we did get a bit lucky there that it didn't turn into really like a promising chance. But aside from that, I thought Noah Allen probably had like two other moments were a little shaky, but he also had some really nice recoveries. So on the whole, I wouldn't call it steady, but I would call it like a positive, nice performance.
I thought Noah, everyone has to acknowledge the fact that he made some errors. But if you look at how well he was playing, winning the ball, pushing in the right tackle, like, I think you have to observe his game over the course of the 90 minutes rather than individual moments. And you'll see how difficult he actually made things for Hani Mukhtar and Sam Surridge. I'm not saying it was a perfect performance, and maybe I shouldn't be an Allen apologist. He did have a few issues, but I would say that was still a very solid performance from him.
Yeah, no, like, I guess like you can be solid where you're just steady and like doing what you're supposed to do, and then you can be solid where you like have some ups and downs, but on the whole it's up. And I think that's where we were with Noah Allen today. Anton says Messi's divine header was a thing of beauty. My can Suarez assist. And then Tunde says Braceman returns. Miami King says Nashville is just another team. No mentality after that defeat. I want to be clear, and I said this last week. I really do think 5-2 helped Inter Miami. And I spent weeks talking about how the result of the last game is not going to matter. And the only reason it matters is because we end up playing the same team. But Nashville's not going home with any confidence now. Inter Miami gets the 3-1 win at home, and Nashville knows 6 days ago, they just lost and got crushed at home and felt terrible about it. I think the mental aspect right now is definitely with Inter Miami.
I completely agree with you. And here's the next thread of that conversation. You have to finish this series next week. You have to end it. If you give them a glimmer of hope, if they beat you at their ground and they are like, oh, we've got an opportunity now, the door's open just ajar, you can't take this to game 3. It was the same thing with Atlanta, exact same thing. And I think we played better today than we did in that last playoff series in that first game. I thought Inter Miami looked a lot more comfortable, professional, ready for the playoffs than they did against Atlanta. You gave Atlanta a chance at their home ground. You can't do the same with Nashville. So you have to beat them while they're down.
Yeah, but it's so different because Atlanta beat up on Miami in the regular season last year. When Miami wasn't playing great, Atlanta crushed us. And then when Miami was playing great, they still got a draw against Miami. So they knew they could compete with Miami going into the playoffs. I don't feel the same vibe with this Nashville team. I think they said seven goals from Messi against Nashville this year. I mean, how do you do that? That's on Walker Zimmerman. That's on Yazbek and Tagset.
And the thing is, they can't play a different 11. This is their 11. Like, they've switched it up a couple of things, but their play style is not going to change. Their 11 is not going to change. They don't have injuries. They don't have players missing. So I think it's going to really weigh down on them.
I do think you're right, though. I think Inter Miami has to go win on next Saturday.
Yeah.
Lynn says Busquets almost gave an assist for Nashville. That was kind of crazy because you never see that from Busquets. There was a moment Busquets is in the middle of the back line, and he kind of just he tries to not tap it, but he does tap it like 2 yards in front of him to the defender. But Inter Miami recovered, and it was fine. But aside from that, I thought Sergio Busquets had an excellent game. Defensively, especially in that first half, he was incredible. He is so much better of a defender than anyone with his athleticism deserves to be. Like, he is. Or his age. Well, you see older guys that can just still have the legs because they're genetic freaks or whatever. But for someone with his lack of athleticism to be that good at defending is crazy. He's not going to run with guys the other way, but he is long. He's hard to get around. He's very smart, and he knows where to be. I thought he was excellent today. And like you mentioned earlier, the ability Inter Miami had to have those incisive passes to get the offense going forward, Busquets was a big part of that.
Yeah. And I think him and Rodrigo de Paul were very good in tandem. Very good.
I don't know if we're going to get to it in the chat, so I did want to say my one player that I do have complaints about that I didn't think was really that great today was Jordi Alba.
Missing.
He had a lot of balls where he overshot it. And I remember him not being that good last year in the playoffs. And so for everyone else to have played pretty well and to feel good about their performance tonight, I'm a little nervous about Jordi Alba. So I want to see him be better in Nashville next week. But we are like, that is a spoiled thing to ask for, and I understand that.
No, I'm not worried about Jordi Alba. I just think he didn't have a particularly effective game. When you mentioned that to me on the side that his passing has been off. I looked at the stats, the end of game stats. His stats are worse than Noah Allen, who we're saying basically had a few shaky moments, gave the ball away a couple of times. His passing was 82% compared to Allen's 93%. And I just think Jordi Alba, I didn't have any moment where I was like, oh, Jordi Alba's in this game. He wasn't as involved as he was a week ago, which was interesting. But I agree with you. I think that side probably didn't have as much to do offensively, maybe. But yeah, I think he was not there.
Yeah, he wasn't as crisp as you'd want him to be, and I wouldn't be nervous if it wasn't for the fact that I also thought last year he wasn't really that good in the playoffs either. So
I don't think I'm nervous. He's going into it with a good form, so we'll see. Hopefully he gets it back.
That's maybe my only thing to watch from this game, though. Miami King says Falcone is great.
Fantastic.
Opposite of Noah Allen, he was just really good the entire game. It was steady, consistent, and it was like, the Palmeiras game or in the Club World Cup where he just showed up, said, "This is my territory. Good luck. I want to see what you got." And then he, fluffed his hair in someone's face and they got mad, and it was just excellent.
Now, he bullied Sam Surridge. He absolutely tormented him. That was probably one of the best games I've seen from Falcone in a very long time. I thought he was brilliant, did everything right. My only worry was that he was going to lose his head because he got agitated a few times, and I thought he's going to go and get himself booked. That's going to be an issue. But overall, I think a 10 out of 10 performance from him. One of my candidates for man of the match as well. He was brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. He does not get a yellow card, and I am a little bit worried about both starting midfielders getting a yellow card, Busquets and DePaul. But again, it's like a spoiled thing to ask for because Inter Miami has a replacement that is perfectly capable of stepping in if one of them does have a problem, and also, like, other teams are just worried about winning, and we're worried about yellow card accumulation. So that's a great feeling. Yeah. Anton says slow start for Frey, but he kept pushing forward, and Mai would have whipped from the side for Kate Gressel. What do you think of Ian Frey?
That side with Falcone and Ian Frey is the Rolls Royce of defensive movement. And you compare that to Cello Weigand and Lujan, which is like a mini Maruti Suzuki. I don't even know if you know what that car is. Before Fiat, there you go. I thought Frey was brilliant. First second of the game, he just carries the ball all the way to the byline. Just can't get the cross in, which was annoying. But throughout the game, he was doing everything correctly.
When you do that in the first moment of the game, you're telling Daniel Lovitz, you better be paying attention to me.
Yeah,
I'm coming at you. And then all of a sudden, he can't be as cut. He can't take a step inside to be a help for Messi because he knows Ian Frey is going to be crossing.
There he is on my TV, giving an interview.
Yeah. I thought he was excellent in this game, and defensively he did what we needed to do. The difference between Maxi Falcone and Ian Frey defensively and what we had last week with Lujan and Jello, it's just such an upgrade that it just makes me feel so much more comfortable in our back line. Even when they have moments where Nashville has either numbers or they put an excellent ball through, I just trust them to recover in a way that not every backline combination I feel good about. And so going up against Sam Surridge, who again, on the left with Schaffelberg on the right, which I find weird, and I wouldn't be surprised if they changed that up for next game. They just handled it, and it was great.
They were so good. First playoff game, first assist in the playoffs. I thought he was brilliant. Sign that contract, please.
What I wanted to say, just for anyone wondering, I think if you get 3 yellow cards over the course of the playoffs, you get a 1-game suspension. And so that's what we're looking at. The only guys that got yellow cards today were Busquets and Rodrigo de Paul. Bizrat says, dominant performance. I like the energy, won a lot of 50-50 balls, largely neutralized Nashville's attack, confident that they will finish this in 2 games.
Great summary.
Okay, maybe I should say this now. There's a chance that was the last game Inter Miami plays
at home
at Chase Stadium. Period. If they go and win next week at Nashville, they'll advance to the next round where they could have to play at Cincinnati. If they win that, they could have to play at Philadelphia. Now, if they make it to the MLS Cup, they will MLS Cup final. They will host that game. But I do just want to take a moment to remember Dry Pink Stadium. Our podcast is named after it. That was a great way to if that is the last game at Dry Pink Stadium, that was a great last game.
The only better way to cap it off would be if we win the MLS Cup at home. That would be fantastic. But I think it's going to be remembered for a lot of fond memories, and I'm glad that this would be a potential ending to the way we finished off it.
Yeah, and let's be clear,
Stadium.
There's no guarantee that Cincinnati would beat Columbus. Columbus might have to come to Dry Pink Stadium in a couple weeks and in the semifinal. Like, it's not guaranteed, but just like I did want to say that just in case. Lynn says, I was screaming, did Bright come on after going up 2-0? He did come on.
He came
when
on
it was
in the
2-0,
87th
but not
minute.
right after. That substitution to me, 89th minute, that was maybe the 87th. That substitution to me was like Javier Mascherano saying, I have these two guys that I think might be important. Let me get them on the field so that they still have their head in the game, because I think this game's going to be over in 4 minutes. Not, I want these guys to help me close it out, which did, I think, in a way come back to bite them, because I think they weren't as locked in on that.
He made that substitution thinking, oh, there's 11 minutes coming. I need some defensive stability just to make sure we see it out. So he brought on 2 defenders or defensive players. Either ways, I think Bright is going to get more minutes throughout these playoffs. I'm confident.
Yeah, today maybe wasn't the game for that.
And RDP was playing really well, so you don't want to break that rhythm.
So was DePaul.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, Inter Miami gets their third goal in the 95th minute, 96th minute. So even at 2-0, the game's not over.
Yeah.
Miami King says, locking down Hani Mukhtar, job done.
No, job's not done.
Yeah, A, agree with that. B, did you think there was anything from Mukhtar or Sam Sturridge or Schaffelberg or anyone? Like,
I thought Schaffelberg was more dangerous than any of the other two.
He was the most dangerous, and he's always been really good against Miami. But he's on the right side. I don't think he's particularly comfortable out there.
Yeah.
And like I think maybe by design they've taken him out of his most comfortable zone, and I do think he's the player that sort of threatens Miami the most. So,
and he was up against Noah Allen, where a few times I thought at the start especially, he sort of got the better, but as the game progressed, Noah Allen held his own really well. And you have to remember, Jordi Alba doesn't necessarily assist much with the defensive side of things, so Noah Allen almost gets double teamed at times on that side. But I thought Schaffelberg, for what it was worth, was their most dangerous player, and we dealt with him fairly well. Surridge, barely heard of him in the first half. Had like a couple of glimpses at goal in the second half. Hani Mukhtar, other than that goal at the end, I don't think he did anything this entire game. So, yeah, not much from them.
Ash says Mascherano will have to make more defensive subs because they can't stay switched on for 90 minutes. Apparently, they can stay switched on for 100 minutes, but not 112. I think those subs at the end were like we're going to get our guys some minutes so they keep their head in the game, and the team did, especially defensively, switch off just a bit.
But I will say my biggest takeaway from this game was how professional we were over the course of the 90 minutes. Like, we were fully in the game the entire time. It didn't feel like at any point the momentum of the game switched entirely in Nashville's favor. Inter Miami was constantly making sure they were concentrated throughout.
No, I agree with that. Janina says, if Miami wins game 2, do they play a game 3? No. Natalia says, we won't see a cost to start for them again game 2. That was not a good choice for Nashville. What do you do if you're Nashville? I think you got to move Schaffelberg to the left.
Yeah.
I think you got to move Schaffelberg to the left and then have... The thing is, you want Hani Mukhtar to be higher up the field. So it's tough. And again, like, there's only so much you can do when you're going up against this level of talent, because if they do spread it out, you got Lionel Messi coming at you the other way.
No, I think they're going to go expansive again. They're going to go Hail Mary, see what happens, and hope for the best. I think they're going to come out with the same tactics.
I think they won't. I think they'll be more conservative, because I think they're going to rely on home field advantage early to keep a clean sheet, and then hope they can get one in transition, and then maybe shake things up going into the second half if they have to. But because if you're Nashville, the way you win this is, you have to win at home, and you're not going to win at home if you give up 3 goals. I don't know, man. It's tough if you're them. Natalia says, did I see Willis fighting back tears? I will say, I thought BJ Callahan had red eyes by the end of the game. I don't think he knew what to do at that
I
point.
think he thought he had the perfect game plan, and I commend him because I would have done the same thing what he did today, but didn't work out, man.
Miami King says Mascherano should rest Busquets earlier, not DePaul. Busquets isn't coming off the field again this season. He's about to retire. Like he's leaving it all out there now.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna play the next 540 minutes if I have to.
Yeah. By the way, you know how many wins it takes to get to win the MLS Cup final? It takes 5. You know how many we have left? 4. Yeah. Tunde says tie's not over. Someone loses their mind next game and gets a red, and we struggle carrying Messi and Suarez off the ball, and ties back in play. So we happy, but stay cautious. Yeah, job's not done. And by the way, I do want to mention this. I believe, if my memory serves, sometimes it doesn't, but if it serves, Sergio Busquets got hurt during practice training in the week between game 1 and game 2, and then missed the rest of the tournament, rest of the matchup. And then Yannick Bright got hurt in the first half, at the end of the first half of game 2. And then we just couldn't stop them defensively in transition. So, like, we were in the same spot last year, feeling good. I know we only won 2-1, but we were telling ourselves, like, that could have been 5-1 if Baguzan didn't play out of his mind. And feeling ultra confident. Although I do think this is a better matchup, so I don't know.
We'll see. One game at a time. One game at a time.
Janina says, I don't like when you say some games mean more than others when talking about Messi. All games mean a lot, but every game is not going to be amazing. That is sports. I don't know if I said that.
But he's obviously going to put in a lot more effort into a playoff game than a random game against Chicago FC on a Saturday, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's... Okay. Maybe I did say that. Tunde says Suarez had 1 assist. No. Where did Saur get 2?
I said 1. I may have, I don't know if I said 2, then I was mistaken, but I think there's only 1.
Look at us just saying things and not remembering.
Listen, man, you keep me up at 11 p.m. on a Friday night. It's my bedtime, okay? I'm ready to go to bed by this time. This is not fair.
I thought you were going to dance on the tables after. Ali said Frey...
Once we win the MLS Cup.
Ali says Frey was second best only behind Messi. I don't see how he wasn't the starter for all season. Yeah.
What do you mean? Season starts now. This is the first game of the season, isn't it?
Like, he did play less minutes than Jello Wagon this year.
Listen, man, I'm just happy that Javi Mascherano has finally come to the realization. Let's just stick with that. Let's not let's not go with what happened the entire season.
MR says Frey did very well, but Falcone brilliant. Yeah, we totally agree with that. MR says, I don't like the way he plays, too uncomposed. He should have done a better job with the surge crossbar header. Sorry, I just don't like glazing Falcone. I thought he was excellent today.
Yeah, honestly. I thought he was excellent.
And here's the other thing. Is Maxi Falcone and Noah Allen as good defensively as Messi and Suarez and Alba are attacking-wise? No. Of course not. But this is the MLS, and you have certain restrictions that make it impossible to have equivalent talented players in the back. So I think, obviously, it's all within context.
By the way, we won 4 games in a row, as Tunde points out in the chat. So that's happened. Now we just need, 4 more.
Upcode says Allen and Frey in the back makes a huge difference versus Lujan and Cello. And for Javier Mascherano's credit, thank God we got here.
Yeah. And again, I know we talked about Lujan actually having better statistics than everyone else on the defensive side, but I still think eye test is more important in this case.
Yeah.
And I would take Falcone Allen any day over Lujan and Falcone. So
MR says, was Rocco's positioning at fault? From my TV view, he seemed too far right, especially for someone who isn't very lengthy. I will just say, we had started this episode before the goal even happened. So I did not watch any of the replays on it.
I think you'd have to account for his height, but that's nitpicking. It was fine. It was a really good free kick from Hani Mukhtar. Really good.
Pepto says he played, and I'm assuming this is RDP, he played like he does for Argentina. I mean,
He did.
this was the Rodrigo De Paul we've been expecting the whole time.
Yeah.
And
Like
if he plays like this, Inter
there were
Miami might
passes
actually.
where he was like facing the opposite side of the pitch, and he just did a line breaking pass straight into Messi, and I was like, ooh, that was a good pass. I was like, ooh,
No, but
yeah, there was a lot of oohs and ahs.
it was the work ethic. It was being in guys' faces, making it difficult for them for Nashville to progress the ball. It was winning the ball on 50-50s. It was the effort and the hustle as much as it was the quality. And maybe hopefully we'll find that those two feed into each other, where like the harder he works, the more in the flow he gets, and then it just becomes easy to do all these, technical things that we kind of see in glimpses. But he was awesome tonight. And if he plays like that, I do think there's a chance, if he is that guy moving forward, that Inter Miami might just have too much talent. And wouldn't that just be a shame? Guitar Tier says, Vamos from Sacramento. Welcome to the show. Janina says she loves that Saur smile. Pepto says, Allende is underrated for his aerial duels. He's got tools. He's got effective tools, and there are moments where he loses his confidence and then he's got nothing. But right now that's not where he's at. So, yeah, he had another opportunity. I think Messi put him through. No, I think Suarez put him through, actually. And it's like Joe Willis just throws an arm out there, and he blocks it. But that could have been another opportunity for Allende that I think he probably is going to put on target. So
he's not the perfect player, but in this system, he just does things which are like, okay, you can see why he gets the start.
Tunde says, did Allende do enough to stave off Silvetti for next game? I don't think
Silvetti starts.
I don't think he's starting this game.
Also,
this year in this playoffs.
By the way, I thought he started really. When he came on, I thought he looked very sharp and very good, and I really enjoyed it. But the thing with Allende is he has chemistry now. Like, he knows what to do with the forward line. With Silvetti, it's not going to be like that until you play him consistently for the next 5-6 games, and you need to give him room to make mistakes and make errors, and we don't have that right now. So Silvetti is a great asset from the bench, and he's probably a better player in the long run than Allende, but I don't think Allende gets benched for Silvetti in the playoffs. I don't think so.
Like, Silvetti will almost certainly be a better player when he's
absolutely.
But like, I don't think they're actually that close right now. Like, I think Allende is like a full professional who's fully bought into this team, that's played 3,000 minutes this year, that understands his teammates, it's making runs over the top, that understands what the guys next to him need from him. Like, and Silvetti's a kid just running around trying to have an impact. And that's awesome and it's exciting, but this is the playoffs. It's not.
Now, if you want to have a conversation about benching Allende for Segovia, I can entertain that.
Speaking of, though, and Miami King reminds me, Silvetti had a one-on-one opportunity.
Oh, he was silky, yeah.
That in another league, he gets a penalty called.
Yeah.
That's not going to get a penalty in the MLS, and he'll start to learn that. But yeah, that was fun to watch. And you think, like, man, next year, like, we're going to see that a lot, and it's going to be really fun. Henry says we witnessed a positive approach today from our defense. They didn't panic.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Extended to the goalkeeper too.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Tunde says, how much do we think these last two games will affect the mentality for the next game, or affect Nashville? We already touched on this a little bit, but like it would not shock me if Nashville's like kaput mentally. They didn't even play well today. That's the thing. Like, there was nothing anyone took away from this game for Nashville that was positive.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like Sam Surridge. Maybe Hani Mukhtar feels good about the goal, but for the rest of the game was not very impactful. Schaffelberg, I don't think, comes away from this game feeling better. That defense doesn't come away from this game feeling better.
And honestly,
the midfield certainly doesn't. So,
if it was 2-1, they could feel slightly better about it, but that third goal just killed them. And it was a mistake by the keeper as well.
I don't think so, because there was nothing to actually latch onto.
Yeah.
Like, you're just saying, oh, we only lost by 1, but we also,
and they didn't
if you
even
look at the
create
XG,
opportunities. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And now they have to go home.
Sorry, but they were so clunky. Like, they were constantly fouling, and it was annoying at times, and it felt like the old school Nashville that I didn't enjoy.
Well, that's what they thought they had to do because
Yeah.
they watched what happened last week when they tried to play straight up with Miami and they got blown out. So now you can't shut them down with physicality and nastiness and dirtiness, and you can't shut them down by opening it up and trying to play Miami's game. So it's just like, what do you turn to if you're Nashville? I just like
Pay the
you
referees.
no, but get the mafia on your side, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Get the Orlando crowd going for you. Fundraiser to pay the referees.
like you almost need one person to like step up and just say, I'm going to help us win a game, and I'm going to lift everyone's confidence, whether it's Joe Willis or Sam Surge or it's Hani Mukhtar. Like you need one person or maybe two players to just like grab the team and bring them back to life, because I think on the whole, I just don't know what they have. And I know it's so dismissive and I know it's such a trap, and I'm sure someone will clip us up if this or remind us of this if it goes bad. But like,
No, I can't deal with another Atlanta, man. Not again.
Mario F says, "Am I wrong? Boosty clearly got the ball first. He shouldn't have gotten the yellow, much less the red being in question." I'm okay with the yellow. I think
I think it
it's
was
like
a bit harsh, but
50-50.
it's fine. Yeah.
It's like a 50-50 on the yellow. Never
His
a red.
studs were up.
Yeah. This guy said, "Did it not look like Suarez took off the gas a few times?" Then Pepto says Suarez has gas, question mark.
I was going to say the exact same thing. The exact same thing.
Anton says Baldassar was not super either. What do you think of
I
Baldassar?
disagree. I really liked his performance. I thought defensively he was superb. His contributions defensively were fantastic. And also he was a really good outlet in that side of the pitch and making some good runs. Unlucky not to get a goal contribution, or even like offensive movements weren't that potent, but I thought he was a massive part of making sure our defensive shape was in place.
I think it was maybe his best defensive game at Inter Miami.
Yeah.
Offensively, I don't know if I would say he was super involved. Part of it, I think maybe
exactly.
it was because Jordi Alba also wasn't fantastic. I think Jordi Alba actually tried to put a couple balls forward to Baldassar, and he just overhit him, and so Baldassar couldn't really get on it. I also think Andy Nahar is like a good defender, and so it's a tough matchup. But like I thought Baldassar was like nice.
You know how you used to say that Baltazar is like good in glimpses, but he needs to put in like a solid performance.
Yeah.
I think he wasn't like a headless chicken just running around trying to chase the ball and doing whatever he actually stuck to the game plan and did what the coach desired him to do. And I really enjoyed that performance from him.
Yeah, I agree. There was no like magic moment where he shoots from outside the box or he has that incisive assist, but just
But I'd rather he be professional, right? Like
Right,
he be a
for 90
proper
minutes.
solid 90-minute player. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice solid 90 minutes. Italia says feels good that Messi re-signed.
Guys, somebody needs to put a hyphen in between re and sign, because Scotty messaged me when this news dropped and I was like, Messi resigned? Why would Messi resign from the club before the playoffs? Resign. R-E hyphen. There you go. Thank you, this guy. Thank you. Sorry, I'm a bit pedantic with this.
Upco says, what do you make of Lujan coming in at right back and not Cello?
Cello's cooked, man. He's going to get sold this winter.
Well, he's on loan, so I don't think he'll be back. But I actually think this is more to do with him wanting to keep Lujan. Like, I keep saying this. I think the Bright and Lujan substitutions were just to give them a few minutes to keep their head in the game because he thinks he's going to need them moving forward, which, like, I'd rather see Cello than Lujan. But Mascherano is going to choose Lujan over Cello, and not as a right back, as a center back. But I think he just wanted to give him a few minutes just to keep his head in the game. Tunde says, finally, 4 straight wins. Now we have to make it 8 straight, and we're good. You know, the last time we won 4 in a row, we actually won 8 in a row.
Well, you know how many games we need to win to make it 8 in a row?
4.
And you know what the 4th win would get us?
Wait, hold on. Darn, I think I miscounted. No, we won 7 in a row.
1 was a draw, so it's fine.
No,
We'll win on penalties. It's okay. We'll win on penalties.
Okay. Nick Smith says Falcone was excellent. Vamos says Falcone was great. Nick Smith says a Rocco save at the end would have been the cherry on top. Vamos says if we win MLS Cup, does Mascherano stay?
I think he does stay, but I genuinely think there's a conversation to be had whether he should or he shouldn't. But I don't think I want to have that right now. That's probably a post-season conversation. If he wins the MLS Cup, though, I think he stays. Not my choice.
I agree. I don't think this is the right time for that conversation. This guy says this game made me see why people are so psyched with RDP. Even the first 2 games where Rodrigo de Paul had to go play as like a pseudo number 10 because Messi was hurt and he had a goal and he had an assist. This was like something I can actually grab onto and be like, if he could just repeat this, we'll be in a great spot. It's like Maxi Falcone. He had early in the season, he was up and down, but the ups were really good. So you thought to yourself, okay, if we can get that guy today, we're going to be in an excellent spot. Mario says Segovia is the Iceman. He's the forward Yannick Bright. Maxi is man of the match.
He's just such a cool player, man. He's just such a cool player.
Tunde says you say that, but wait till an Allende masterclass and see how easy it is to maintain that stance. Fair. I think Allende, as long as he doesn't lose his confidence completely, he's the better option. But listen, I didn't think he played well last game, and we even opened the door to Silvetti earning a starting spot later on the playoffs. But it's crazy what 90 minutes can do to you. Pythia says, come on, Saur. Silvetti slotted in perfectly both games he started. The idea that a star international player takes 6 games to slot in. I don't think Silvetti started 2 games. He only started 1 game against NYCFC.
I'll say this. I was the biggest advocate to take Allende off when he was in a rotten form. I don't think this is the time to take him off.
Tunde says they tried to go Seattle on us, and it worked for Seattle. It's interesting because the thing about Seattle was twofold. A, they really played well in the defensive midfield spots. And Obed Vargas and Christian Roldan are better players than Yazget and
Taxeth, Yazbek, and Taxeth. You always forget Taxeth's name. Always.
Always. Yes, Yazbek and Taxeth. Like, they're better players, but you can see them trying to do a facsimile of what Roldan and Obed Vargas did. But they're not as good. And then B, the center backs played excellent in that game against Seattle. And C, Seattle got an early goal or a first half goal because Lujan was just Lujaning. And
can't believe
then
he started that game.
But once they got that 1-0 lead, they could really like shut it down and make it very difficult for Inter Miami. So, and Inter Miami still had their chances.
Yeah. Have we learned from that game? I hope we've learned from that game.
Yeah, you know what? That game is the oldest lineup Inter Miami played all year. Jerry says, any word on Mora? I think that's Gilberto Mora, the 16-year-old. I guess he turned 17 for Toluca, who's a phenom. And the word is that I would be shocked if he came to Inter Miami. Tunde says, you can tell Scotty's disappointed. He wanted that perfectly symmetrical, as all things should be.
What is this in reference to?
I don't know.
Well, if you guys want a little backside story, yes, Scotty wants everything symmetrical. He has an issue with symmetry.
Yeah, it's probably only when it comes to graphics, but that's okay. This guy says the ref was too permissive the first half. Nashville's going to come out hot next game. They are pissed. I agree that he was very permissive on ticky-tack stuff, but I thought he called it both ways, and so I thought I was fine with it. And that first opportunity on Noah Allen was in like the 10th minute, not on Noah Allen, but where Noah Allen loses the ball and Jacob Schaffelberg creates an opportunity for himself. I thought it was like a physicality that may have been called a foul in another
I don't think that was
game.
a foul, but yeah, could have been called one.
Well, defenders get fouls in ways that other players
but he
don't.
set the standard there, though, right? I think
But he did. But that's my
Yeah.
point, is that he followed that all the time. So I thought it was fine. And then the other thing is the yellow cards. Rodrigo de Paul gets a yellow card, and
For what?
I thought that was silly.
So stupid.
It's tough because clearly the game was getting nonsensical with the back and forth arguing, but I didn't think Rodrigo de Paul was like a part of it. So it's unfortunate he
In
was.
fact,
sort of wrong place,
Falcone
wrong
might
time.
have deserved one.
Yeah, it was wrong place, wrong time for him, and hopefully it
Yeah,
doesn't come
yeah.
back to bite us. Talia says, what happened to Obando? He's MIA. SPH says Mora's agents already presented him with the project. The only way Gilberto Mora comes to Inter Miami is if he's allowed to come before he turns 18. And I don't know, maybe that's not a rule. And so he comes here for 1 year before he goes to PSG or Real Madrid or whatever. What happened to Obando?
He's doing a Baltazar.
Tunde says Obando doesn't exist. I'll fight anyone. I have an Alan Obando jersey, and they wouldn't have sold that to me if someone wasn't there named Alan Obando to sign off.
Can you believe if someone just made a joke out of it? Like, he played one game, scored one goal, and he never existed. It's just some random person they brought in from like the South Florida streets. They're like, go play.
Hey, listen, with the way Suarez played at some points this season, I'm sure they would have signed him if they
Listen,
could.
man, for the longest time, I didn't think Baltazar was real. So, hey.
What do you think about Obando? Would you try and loan him again next year?
No.
This is not a conversation for right now.
No.
But the striker situation is interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
And I think Obando could have been a really nice player if he existed.
Pep says Obando is a front. He's a tax write-off. You know what? That's probably true.
We can't be 100% sure that Chauncey Billups isn't involved with this somehow.
Yeah. Who knows?
Okay, we're getting silly. Let's end it there. Saur, final thoughts.
1, 2, 3, 4. 4 wins. Job's not over. Let's get the dub next week. And then maybe we can start dreaming. Sleep well, lads. Sleep well.
It will only get harder from here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this was the easiest game we'll play.
Yeah. 100%.
Probably. Enjoy it, because we don't know when the next one's going to come. This time a year ago, we thought we were heading to the MLS Cup to win it all, and this was the last game we won all year. So enjoy it, and we'll be back in the midweek. Actually, we'll be back tomorrow to break it all down. We'll rewatch it and talk about if Rocco was in the right spot on the 111th minute free kick. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for getting in the chat. As always, you guys make the show for us, so we really appreciate it. And we will see you guys tomorrow for more. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Do us a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Since our first viewer, sharing this with you all has been the very best part. So from the beginning until the end, thank you for being a part of this, and have a wonderful day.